Welcome aboard. I'm Captain Wayne Canning, Master Boat Builder and Marine Surveyor. Today I wanted to take a look at converting an older fluorescent light to LED lights. These lights came off of a 1983 Beneteau 440 and they're no longer available. They're recessed into the overhead with a cutout, and all of the electronics on the fluorescent lights have quit working. So the owner is stuck with these lights with holes in his overhead, and we can't find any lights to replace it. So what we've decided to do is go ahead and convert the fluorescent lights to LED lights. So what I've done is I went on eBay and I found some LED lights that are designed to go into car dome lights. I bought these lights for about $3 a piece, these bulbs. And they come in these little packages, and they're all set up to plug into existing fixtures. But what I've done is, open this up real quick. We see we've got all these adapters in here, which we really don't need. What I just am looking at is this set of bulbs like this with the little plug. And you have a series of lights. And on the back, you'll notice it's got a self-adhesive. So we'll peel that paper backing off and we can just glue them in there. Very simple. So the first thing we've got to do, let's put on my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. First thing we got to do is strip off the wires. And let's see, we've got our wire stripper here. So on each one of these I'm going to prepare them by stripping the wire back. And we'll just take each one off. That will do. We're going to put 4 lights inside of this light, which will be about equivalent to the same amount of light that the fluorescent light provided at a lower wattage. So not only are we reusing the existing fixtures, but we're also saving electricity. That one didn't look too good. Might have to redo that one. Small wires are a little tricky to strip back. And as you can see, these lights come with these little plugs on them, so I'm just clipping those plugs off and then stripping the wires back. By doing this, we'll have 4 bulbs that are ready to be wired together. Alright, now we've got those ready to go. The next step is, let's go ahead and dismantle this light. So the first thing we want to do, that's not going to fit, alright, is there's 2 screws holding this reflector assembly in. So we'll take those 2 screws out. And we can remove the reflector assembly. So we can see that's what it looks like from the inside now. And that's the inside of the fixture. We'll knock the dirt out of it that is left over from years. Get the little bugs out. Alright, the next thing we want to do is go ahead and we want to take the bulb out, get rid of that. Then we want to get rid of the electronics here, which is relatively simple. One of those screws, as we can see, is actually fallen out already, so that makes our job a little easier. So, fairly simple to just remove the little electronics module, which is burned out at this point. There we go. And it comes off of there. And I'm not going to worry about these end fittings because they're really not going to bother us, so I'm just going to go ahead and clip those wires and leave them in there. Because, like I say, they're not going to bother us at all, and I don't want to try to damage the fixture by trying to remove them. Alright, now we got a fixture, and you can see where these little LED lights will lay right down in there. But what we want to do is we want to poke holes in here in order to run the wires through, so all the wiring's on the back and not on the inside. So let me get my drill together. Hold on. Okay, we're going to put 4 of these bulbs in, so I need to drill 4 holes in here. I'm going to do it because the wires kind of come off to the back of that. I'm going to drill them off to the side here. This is relatively thin metal, so it'll drill easily. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball them where they go. I'm not going to do this too scientifically. If you're really picky, you could probably measure those out, but I'm just going to eyeball it for the time being. Oops. Okay, now we've got our holes drilled. The next step is to go ahead and put our bulbs in. I'm not liking the way that was stripped, so I'm going to do that over again. But before we do this, I have found out the hard way. This one's not working real good. Let me try a different one. I have found out the hard way because these bulbs, although inexpensive, as you might can see, are written all in Chinese. And apparently the Chinese are colorblind, because these bulbs are polarity sensitive, meaning one side has to be positive, one side has to be negative. What I found in installing these is they get the red and black mixed up. So sometimes black is positive, sometimes red is positive. The only thing we can do is test them. So I will go ahead and pre-test all of these before I install them. Actually, I'll glue them in and then I'll test them as I wire them up one at a time. That way I don't get confused. That'll keep things simple. Yeah, I wired up one of these lights with all of the bulbs in there, only to find out half of them didn't work. Okay, what I'm going to do now is we've got this 3M self-adhesive double-sided tape on the back of these. So we'll just peel that off. And I'll take the wires and I will poke them through the hole and set that bulb down in there and simply press that in. And we're good to go. So now we'll do that with all the other 3. This is the hard part, peeling this tape off. Do one at a time. And pop that sucker down. Stick it down good. There we go. Press them fairly firmly down. This double-sided tape holds pretty well, but you got to get it kind of stuck down. Also, if this lens, this reflector is dirty, you might want to clean it first. This one's actually in pretty good condition, so I'm not going to worry about it. All the wires through. And there you go. There's all the bulbs in there, ready to go. That was that simple. Okay, the next step is...
Hold it up again.
Okay. All the bulbs ready to go. We good? Okay. Alright, now the next step is wiring all these together so that they'll all work together. Okay, pause it. Okay, now it's time to check and make sure that we've got the polarity is right on all of these. I've got a little 12-volt power supply here, and you can see I have red hooked up to red and black to black, and that light did not come on. So I'm going to swap them around and do a quick test, and you can see that light came on. So that one's wired backwards. Let's check the next one in the line. Put that on there, and that one's going to be backwards as well. And we're just going to double check it, make sure the light comes on. Yes, we can see the light comes on. We may find that, was that correct? Was that
no, that one was backwards.
That one was backwards, okay. Let's check each one in turn. They may all be backwards. Yep, that one's going to be backwards. I'm just going to double check that the light does come on. We can see, make sure we don't have a bad bulb. And that one comes. So they're all backwards on this. We know that now. That will make life simple. Okay, pause again. As you'll notice, I use that particular type of stripper. I also like these strippers. They tend to work pretty well, although they don't always work good on small wires. And that just pop that right off like that. Yeah, that'll work good. Alright, there's a couple of choices here. You could solder all these together with heat shrink, but I'm just going to use crimp connectors because basically I'm being a little bit lazy, and this is just a faster way to go. What I'm going to do at the same time is change the color of the wires so that when I come down here and have the wire coming out at the end, the polarity is going to be marked correctly for wiring the boat. So the first thing I'll do is put the red and black together. And these are very skinny wires, so in order to get the crimp connectors to hold good, I'm going to take that and bend that wire over and double it over before I put the crimp connector on. Then I'm going to slide the crimp connector on and just very carefully squeeze that sucker down good and tight. And I'm going to give it a little pull and check and make sure that those wires are holding good. I'm at the end here. I'm just going to leave that on an end splice like that. Alright, now to do the next one. And where's my black wire? Oh, red, yeah, because I'm changing the colors. So we're going to give those little, once again, give them a little twist together. I'm lined up about right. Twist them together. And then just put a little kink with my thumbnail so I can bend it over and double the wires over. That helps that crimp connector really hold on to those wires pretty good. Put that on there. And once again, give it a good tight squeeze. And give it a little tug. Trick is when you give it a tug, you don't want to pull it hard and have the wire fall out. You just kind of want to see if there's a little bit of movement there. That way, if there is a little bit of movement, you can re-crimp it without having to take it all the way out. Alright, this is where we get tricky because we want to try to, actually I might could do this, double those over and save myself a little trouble. So this is where we got to pay attention because we're changing the colors of the wires and we don't want to get confused and get one backwards. So, black to red. How we have it. And I'm going to slide that in. Soldering might actually be a better way to go on this, but it's not all that critical as long as you make sure your crimps are good and the wires are not sliding loose. Okay. I'm not liking the way that one's stripped. I think we pulled a couple of the strands of the wire, so I'm going to try that one again. And this is a little tricky. Come on. Alright, that's not going to work, so we're back to this. Gentle. Okay, that's got it. That makes me feel a little bit better. These thin wires, you got to be careful you don't break the wires off when you strip them. It's just, it takes a little patience, but you'll get it. Once again, red to black. You gotta squeeze that down a little bit more so it'll slide in there nicely. Okay. Crimpers over there. That's good. Okay. Now we can move on to the next ones. Just fold that down nice and neat. And we'll come back over here. And if we're going to do a similar deal. Will all these fit together? That would be great if they did. So what I'll do is I'll just clip these off here. Give myself a little extra. Okay. Oh, that was weird. I don't know what happened there. It did not strip where I wanted it to. Alright. Try these again. There we go. These are great strippers, but they don't work well with small wires. Okay. Once again, we want to go red to black on these. So, make sure all those strands are nice and neat. We'll do this. Let's see if we can fit all of these here. Get all those wires together. That's a little large, so I'm not going to try to bend that over. Just slip that on. With the 3 wires together, it makes it a little thicker, so we don't need to bend it over. I'll make sure I get that just right. Yeah, good and tight. Check all the wires, and we're good to go on that one. Alright. So that was red to black, now we're going black to red. And each one, twist that on there good. A little tight holding all those together, but we can do it. Okay. And one more of these. Slide that on there. Carefully, yeah, grip that down nice and tight. Check that. Okay, we're good to go. Finally, mess here. Can't see what I'm doing. What happened to my black wire? Finally, last step is to go ahead and put these. I don't know why I did that. Back to this. Put these feed wires on. Come on. So, we want to go red to black. And in there, I stripped that a little too far back, so we'll take a little off of that so that it all fits in there nicely. There we go. Crank that. To feel that, make sure it goes in nicely, which it's not doing. There we go. That's it. You don't want to push that wire too hard, otherwise you'll just push the strands apart when you slide them in. Alright. Finally, strip these back. And get them ready to go. Okay. Alright, so there's our wires. We're all wired together. We'll take this and set it back in here. Ordinarily, I'd probably test this first, but we're going to be brave and just stick it in here. And go ahead and give it a try. It's only 2 screws. If we have to take it back apart, we've got to take it back apart. So there's one. There's 2. Alright, let's come back over here to our power supply. And in theory, if everything is done correctly, let's go ahead and turn that on. You should have 4 lights. And there you have it. A fluorescent light converted to LED. It only took us 15 minutes or so per light to do. It's only a few bucks, $3 each for the lights, so that's $6 to or $12 to convert this. My math's not good. For 12 bucks, we've converted this fluorescent light to an LED light. We'll use less power, the bulbs will last longer, and it produces a very nice warm light. So we have salvaged the old fixtures and been able to maintain the look of the boat while at the same time having new lights. And that's it. Thanks for watching.